Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a EcoBoost Focus in. We just checked it. Oil light is on, oil pressure light on. That means that your pickup is blocked, but the engine sounds still good. So we didn't run it for too long, just to start up to listen, and it still sounds good. That means that we can still save it. We'll have to take the sump off, clean the pickup, and do the cam belt and the oil pump belt. And that's what we're going to do today. Right, okay. Who's got the new coil pack? Right. Let's unplug that already. We'll have to get the vacuum pump off, because at the back of a vacuum pump you've got a little filter, and that blocks up when the belt goes. And if that blocks, it normally seizes up the vacuum pump, and when the vacuum pump seized, it snaps the cam belt. So all this good work we would have done, it would be all for nothing if we don't clean the vacuum pump filter. Just a little tip. Unplug all of them things. I have to go and get some tools in a minute. Right, let's go and get some tools. Right. Right, undo this clip. Right, let's that off. Let's get rid of them so they're not on my way. Right, that's that out of the way. Coil packs. Ooh, oil leak. Oil is leaking. Dipstick. So it's still got plenty of oil in it. Yeah, oil is there, but it doesn't smell too bad. So yeah, so it's not the quantity of oil; it's actually blockage of the pickup that causes the problems. Oh, I need to release the pressure. Okay, just have to drain the coolant in a minute. Right. Oh, it fell down. Never mind. Right, I'll take this wiring off the injectors. that. Right. Oh, right, yeah, yeah. Right. All three injectors didn't come out, so that means they will have to more likely replace the O-rings. They're probably going to be damaged now because they never. Yeah, one is stuck inside. Actually, I could inspect them first. Oh, it's actually okay. Not damaged. Normally they get damaged. Oh, well, once they took the rocker cover off, I'll see better. Okay. Right. Right. Right, I'll leave that one. No, it's cheers. Right. There's our rocker cover off. Right, rocker cover is off. Right, let's take this injector seals off. Make sure they're not damaged. Oh, not damaged either. Oh, that's good. No, not damaged either. Well, that's good. That's three not damaged. That saves a lot of money because you can't buy them individually. Comes as a kit from main dealer, and they cost a fortune. There's our belt. Flaking off. the studs out. Never mind. And I'll take the bottom in once we get to the bottom. Right. Need to take the throttle body off. Let's get out of the way. Get this housing out. Right, if I'll take that off completely. Well, that's the housing out of the way. Got a bit more room already. Oh, the water pump has been replaced at some point. Looks quite fresh. Take this vacuum pump off while I'm at the top. And then I can start at the bottom. Oh. I don't want to snap this thing, so I might have to unscrew it instead. Mhm. Right. The nut is not undone, but actually the whole stud is spinning, preventing me to. There you go. That's better. It's got the earth lead going on to the bottom bolt of the vacuum pump. It's the earth lead. Right. See that? That's the mesh I was talking about. Let's get a pick and see how much gunk is in that. See how much rubbish just come out from that little filter. All of that's bits of belt. See, that's a lot of rubbish inside a tiny little filter. See, a lot more come out. Yeah, it still works okay. That's good. Yeah, nice and clean now. Tiny little mesh. The amount of stuff we had it, and I'm surprised it hasn't seized up yet. Okay, that's ready to go back on, but I'll do that. I'll put everything back on once I finish with the cam belt. Even though that can't go back on really, but I won't. Let's get rid of it. Right, this lambda sensor needs to come out. Yeah, luckily they always come out. Right, the heat shield can come off. Get rid of it. As per usual, that bolt is out. You can see that bolt always out. That one. No matter how many of them I've done, always that bottom bolt is like it's in by a couple of threads. Don't know why. Focus Fiesta seems to be always that bolt is out. Oh, they're missing as well. So somebody has had it done something at some point. Maybe Campbell been done before, because them two bolts are missing. The alternator looks quite new as well. Well, next step, jack it up and drain the coolant and oil and everything else. Right, get the tray off. Okay. That needs to come off as well. Right. Right, that's done. Now I've got access to the front. Oh yeah. Let's dump the coolant. There you go. Here's a little tap, and it's got a little plastic hose. It looks like a hose, you know. It's plastic bit sticking out by the tap. You just shove the hose on top of it, so then you can collect all the coolant into the bucket without it leaking everywhere. Just one thing they've done well. The good old Fords. Right, I can take this out. Yes, that come out. Ooh, it's a bit of a coolant leakage of some sort. I can get to the lower hose now. and undo that. Right, that's the lower turbo hose. I'm done. Let's get rid of this. Undo the water pump sprocket. Okay. Tensioner. Battery just died on me. Well, that's the idler and the tensioner off. And get the alternator off now as well. Okay. We can unbolt it and just leave it to the side with the pipes attached. Then that way you don't have to lose all the gas, or you don't need to degas it or regas it. Unless it's completely empty, then you can obviously do it, but it's best to leave it alone. That's a compressor. Aircon compressor. Disconnect it. Sometimes I don't bother taking an alternator off. I just leave it unbolted and leave it to the side with all the wires attached. But this time I decided to take it off. Right, all the wires out of the way. What I'm going to do now, drain the oil. Forgot about that one. Meant to do that some time ago. Take the oil filter off as well. Right, now I can try to undo this bolt that I couldn't undo before. It was quite tight. That's it, that's out now. There you go. This one don't have to undo. Right, let's dump the sump. Take the sump off. That's all the bolts undone for the sump. I want to get rid of the oil, so I use a tray again. That's the sump off. Now we can. It's quite clean, so somebody has changed the oil recently. And here, without me even seeing it, I could predict what's happening. You see all that gunk in there. Now have a look. What a lovely design. That's our old belt, or half a belt sitting in the filter. That's our belt sitting in the filter. No wonder no oil coming through. Yeah, yeah. Oh. It's normally genuinely due to low maintenance or using the wrong oil.
That's why oil light on.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's 100% why oil light is on. You don't need to change the oil pump. You just need to clean it. That's it. Clean this filter. And that's it. That's all it is. Clean it, blow it. Yeah, because the sump itself is quite clean, because everything got sucked into the pickup. Right. See this cap, you can't come out. I didn't know that before. I used to think they're pressed in and that's it. You can never get them out. Right, can be put away now. You can get the water pump off. It's a brand new water pump on it. New alternator, new water pump. Need to get this pipe off the back.
You're going to remove water supply from the back.
Yeah, yeah, because it goes through the front, through the cover, and the cover part of a timing cover. So the water pump goes on this side, and water supply goes from that side. And there's a little bolt here that holds this pipe up as well.
How many bolts is it? Three?
Just yeah, two bolts are up here and one bolt here that holds the pipe. Once it's off, then you can wiggle this. Once it starts wiggling, it doesn't matter. Once you pull the cover off, it's gonna come off it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Now it's the fun part. Take front crank pulley off. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try my half-inch. I always use my 3/4 drive. I've never actually tried my half-inch. No, I haven't. I thought it was a 3/4 I used.
No, the last time I used the half inch for the.
All right, yeah. Okay, all right. Before doing that, I need to time it up.
Yeah.
Let's get the timing to the correct position. So it's just past the. I mean, because I'm changing the cam belt, it doesn't matter. But once you've done the belt, you can only turn the engine clockwise. But I'm changing the engine bolt. I mean, changing it, so it doesn't really matter. Only need to return a tiny bit. Right. Now I need to undo the plug at the back. Get my timing tool out. I need one of them. Let's get the plug at the back. Put the timing pin in. I don't know why I'm done. That's the plug. Yeah, once I'll put it in, you can have a look. Get the torch and have a look where the timing tool goes in and where it hits, because without the sump you can actually physically see what's happening, where that tool goes into and what it hits. Whether I put that bolt back in, the one that just took out, the one that it didn't need to take out. I think it's drive shaft mount bolt I just took out, no, just right next to each other. Right, okay, and now it goes here, dong, see, dongs against the tool.
Bottom mid lock now.
Yeah, I need a oil pipe disconnect, oil feed to the turbo disconnected, because the turbo pipe is just slightly on the way.
Tiny.
Yeah, the timing tool doesn't fit properly with it. And now I can lock up the timing at the top. Right. Okay. One, two. Three. Oh, look at that. It's running right on the edge, the belt. I have that feeling the cam belt might have been done before. But they're not done the oil pump belt. Never cleaned the pickup either.
That's right, because some people need to save big money and they don't want to do the bottom edge.
Full job, yeah.
Ending with double payment. So
Mm,
unnecessary
yeah.
spending.
Okay. Right. That. This one in. Two. See, that's where that tool hits against the pipe, turbo pipe, and if you don't undo it, you just can't put the tool in properly. Well, the top locked up as well now. Top locked up, bottom locked up. Crank pulley I'm not going to bother locking up because it's coming off anyway. So, right, and now let's try to undo. Right, I'm going to connect to the highest setting. That number 4. Okay, well, that's ½ inch. Let's get the big boys now. Right, see, that's a 3/4 drive. Looks similar size.
See what's going on now.
24mm socket. Oh, the socket's stuck on this one. There you go. There's your 3/4 drive. Just a little bit extra torque, and that's it. And it's out. But you can see up here on the crank pulley, you've got that hole. That's your timing mark, because up here you've got your pickup, magnetic pickup ring for the crankshaft position sensor. So if you put that wrong, or either way, car won't start. Simple as that. So it has to go that timing hole, not them two big ones, because them two big ones are for the special tool to hold it still. And that lines up with this hole up here on the block, just there. It's about a 1 o'clock position, more or less. So it's not up, so it's slightly to the up and to the side. So if you don't put it in correct, it won't start. Well,
If you want, you can try.
yeah, no, I did, and it wouldn't start. I think the first one I ever did, I didn't know anything about that timing. Obviously, the timing gone in the back, and obviously everything was timed up properly. And then put it all back. Oh, actually, it wasn't me who done it. Somebody else did it on the Cougar. Same thing. It started up and would not start. It kept coming up with camshaft crankshaft correlation. He asked me to come out to have a look what's happening. He was there whole day struggling. That timing belt come on and off about 15 times, and he just would not do it. I checked his timing. Timing was perfect, but the crank pulley wasn't timed up at all. He didn't know anything about it. So I put it right, boom, fired up half a turn. And that's it. Easily done if you don't know. Not quickly. What's happening to my batteries today? All gone cold. Just loosen them all off. Right, up here we've got the 13mm. Right, on either side of this covers is one bolt is different, which is like a, yeah, it's got the little lump in the middle, but the hole is bigger. the rest, you see that bolt won't fit anywhere else. See, so you can only fit in that hole. So don't bother. I used to like put them all in order until I realized it didn't really matter, because you can't go in the other holes anyway. Okay. Right.
Because of the O-ring is stuck.
Yeah. Ooh. And that's our belt. Because it's all timed up, I can just rip the belt off without checking anything anymore. I can't. Battery's gone a bit low. That's it. And all the belts are out. Let's have a look at the condition of them belts. Yeah, you can see cracks everywhere. Cracks everywhere. I just picked a bit off.
That's why oil pump will block.
Yeah. Look, you're just picking bits off. Look at that. The tooth already start ripping off. Oh, that cam belt was waiting to go any minute. Look, there's a massive crack, and that's the first tooth I just checked. They're only just holding on. That is a really bad condition belt. Really bad. So I don't think the belt's been done. Yeah, look, you're just picking up bits off. Just like that.
Oil pump belt also same, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar, but nowhere near as bad. But yeah. No. Because it doesn't really have much pressure on it. It's just oil pump. So it's not. It wasn't going to go. That one definitely is going to go any minute. Ready to go. And you see both of them are free spinning. So, but to do the oil pump belt, you've got to take the cam belt off. Well, on the transits, you don't have to. They're independent. They run independent from each other. So you can they're located in different positions. You still have to take the front cover off, but you don't have to touch the timing belt on the transits to do the oil pump belt. But it's no point doing oil pump belt without doing cam belt. It's all apart. Might as well. And yeah. Okay. Well, that's all done. All apart. And yeah, now we're gonna have to get parts in, and we'll put it back together when the parts are here. Okay, see you soon. Bye for now. Welcome back. We've got the parts now. So just before you fit the part on this particular engine, you can have two types of belts. So that's the old belt, and that's the new belt. So they're the same width, but there are some belts that are a lot narrower, so they'll probably come up to here. So you got a wide belt and a skinny belt, if you know what I mean. So make sure you get the correct one, because this is the wide belt. And you obviously got a new oil pump belt, and the new tensioner. Right, need to start with the oil pump belt, because once that on, you can't put that on anymore. It won't fit. Right, let's get that. Right, oil pump. I did clean it yesterday, but yeah. So the mesh is clean. It's nice and shiny now. No more belt swarf inside. Right, that's the oil pump belt on. You can see it's free spinning. It's got no guides, no tensioners. It's just like that. Put this cover back on. That's it. This cover only just clicks in. It no bolts or anything holding it. That little knob goes into that little hole just underneath the bolt hole. If in doubt, you just wiggle it, and it's not supposed to move much. And the belt. Right. Pull the pin out, and that's it. That's the timing belt is on. Because the bottom is free spinning, that end is timed up, that's end timed up. We haven't loosened them up, so that should be all good. The bottom end is still locked up. It's resting against the pin, the crankshaft. The next step, I'm gonna put the sump on. I already cleaned all the surfaces on the mating surfaces on the front cover, and also on the for the sump. So sump clean, the front cover is clean, but this gasket has, this is the state of the gasket that come out of it. So I don't think we can reuse that anymore. So we're waiting for a new one coming from main dealer. Right, the belt is on. The sump. Front cover really needs to go before the sump. Never mind. Up to here, roughly. Right. Yeah, normally I would put that cover on first, but because we're waiting for a seal, I've got to put the sump on first. So it's going to be a bit backwards.
Okay, then.
But you can do it this way anyway. I have to kind of hook over the exhaust because I'm taking the exhaust completely down. You can do it without taking exhaust completely off. I'm gonna put some silicone on the block as well, just in case if it smears. Right, it's there-ish. But I forgot to get the bolts. Right. So if you jack the engine right up and drop the exhaust or the cat down a bit, so it's enough to put the sump off without removing it, because it's so awkward to get on rear bolts and most of the time they snap, so it just create more problems. So I normally leave it hanging and then it's enough room, so it's no need for it. Just need to do them two last bell housing bolts up. Right, that's sump on. Okay, that's on, but now we need to put the cover on, whether we want to or not. Sump is on. I can leave that jacked up. We'll go and find out if the power's turned up. Right, put silicone on the sump. Now I need to put silicone on the cover. I've got a new gasket. That's the state old gasket. All soggy, ripped, nice and shiny. Right. Around it. Right. Right. At the moment, the belt is all loose, but it gets tight once you do the bottom crank pulley. Okay. Okay. Let's pop the locating bolts in first. And that one. Okay. Well, that's the front cover on. I think we can finish with the timing now. We'll put the crank pulley back on, time it up properly. That's the timing pin is in. So that's timed up. That's still timed up. So we've got 4 separate timing elements. Crankshaft, 2 camshaft, and the crank pulley, all timed up separately. Now we're going to have to remove all the timing marks, timing pins. One of them. One of them. I'm putting the bolts away because I don't need to bolt the cam pin timing tool up. I can just lay it down once I turn the engine over. But before I start turning engine over, I want to put the oil filter in. Oil filter on, back on. I think I might have to get it from underneath. I can't reach. Right, that's the oil filter on. Now all the timing tools are out. What I'm gonna do, turn the engine over, complete 2 revolutions, just to make sure the timing is correct. Right, it's almost there. Put the crank pin in. Right. That goes until it hits the pin. That fits perfect. That fits perfect. just as a tip, you know, you've got the little QR codes on the top of the camshaft, so they need to stick up. They need to be up. And that's it. That all fits perfect. So that means that the timing is spot on. Remove all the timing pins back out again. Right. All the timing pins are out. I'm going to put the plug back in. This little water flange can go back in on the back of the cover. I've got bolts for it here. Right, that's a water pump on, water flange on. Now I can put the water pump on. There's two long bolts. They're going right through the cover into the block. So them two bolts actually holding the front cover on as well. So they need to go in quite quickly before the silicone dries off, if you know what I mean, because that will squidge up the silicone a bit. On this one, if you're okay, but on some vehicles, they've got a little bracket here to hold the front cover, front shield on. I think it's on Fiestas. So it needs to be put on the right way around. So the locating valves are in. Well, that's the water pump back on. Shouldn't have any more coolant dribbling on my head anymore. I could put alternator on. I can put the aircon compressor on. I think I'll put the aircon on. Right, before I put that on, I need to make sure that lower thing fits in its bracket. That's it, that's in. Oh, wrong hole. Right, that's them bolts fed in. Might be able to line up now. Aha, now it goes in. Okay. With alternator off, it's much easier to get to that lower bolt. That's exhaust on-ish. Just need to finish the last two bolts underneath. Well, that's on. Aircon compressor is back on. Water pump is on. Exhaust is on. Let's pop the oil feed for the turbo back on. But before I do that, I pop some oil into the turbo. Right, first I'm gonna pop some oil into the turbo. Ooh, a bit too much, but better that than nothing. I'll wipe the excess off. Let's do some watering. Let's do some watering. There we go. Nice. The belt is nice and wet. I wouldn't recommend doing that with the sump off.
Huh?
I wouldn't recommend doing that with the sump while the sump is still off.
That's it.
Yeah.
Definitely you need to try out another 5-liter can. That's it.
Uh-huh. Nice. So at least that's done. Now I'm gonna try and put the alternator on and the belt tensioner, belt idler. I think I'll start with the alternator. We'll have to feed the wiring back into this area. Bring that in. Goes underneath as well. Right, now let's try to put it in. Ooh, awkward alternator. Right. here. It's already been replaced by somebody. Goes in easy. Oh, what an awkward thing. Alternator is back on. Well, that's all the auxiliary components are on. I could put new belt on. Got a nice new shiny belt. Okay, let's release the pin. Auxiliary belt is on. Okay, next step, I'm gonna pop the hose attachment here, or adapter, I don't know what it's even called, flange, wherever you want to call it. I think I'm gonna put the engine mount back on now. All right. release the engine. Right, next step, I'm going to put the rocker cover back on. But let's do another clean. Actually, I'll put these rings back on, otherwise it'll be a lot more to put it on later. Right, I need silicone to put on the joints and on the corners. Because that's leaking. The whole engine was covered in oil because of that. I've got a nice and shiny one. Let's just hope it's the right one. Okay. Right, that's that on. Let's put this in. Right, that's the rocker cover on. Right, let's pop the throttle body back on. Ooh, drop the bolt, don't forget to do that. Got to drop the bolt, otherwise job's not done. Think of all these exercises they do free of charge, no gym membership pay, picking up bolts all day long. I'm gonna put this vacuum pump back on. It's nice and clean now. The filter is washed out. Vacuum pump on. Now we need to put the earth lead back on as well. Probably underneath would be better. Right, that's the earth lead on. Right. Little non-return valve can go in. I couldn't remove the hose of it, so I had to undo it. Because I didn't want to snap it, that's for sure. Oh yeah, I've started doing the throttle body, and I've actually finished doing it. That can go in, 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 that can go. Right, they can stay out. They can stay out for a minute. Exhaust shield can go back on. They can go in as well. Right, the studs can go back in for the turbo hose. Oh. Let's see. Let's pop the clip back on. And put the clip back on here as well. Right. Well, let's shield back on. Let's pop the lambda sensor back in. Right, I'll put some copper grease around the thread. A little smear of grease, so it comes out next time as easy as this time. Right, and then right, that's the lambda sensors on. Finished doing up that hose underneath. So one of the turbo hoses are fully done. This turbo hose is fully on. That's all plugged in. Done. I can put this turbo hose on next. We'll leave this alone for a minute. This turbo hose on. I'm not going to plug that in because this hose needs to go on first. I could put the coolant expansion tank back on now. Yeah. Right, that's all the coolant hoses are back on. I think the next step, I'm gonna have to blow all the petrol out of there because all the spark plugs swimming. Actually, I could put that on while I remember. So I'll just put match to it and go burn it off. It'll be quicker. Let's get the fuel rail back on. Right. A bit of a lubrication on our O-rings. Otherwise, they're just gonna not go in. Right, before I put that on, let's pop that back in. Right, and that can go in. Right, let's find them holes, the plugs rather. Next, let's pop the coil packs back in. The rest of them. That was number one. Okie dokie. Alright, that's plugged in, plugged in, plugged in.
Can you help me the name, please?
Now we can plug that in. Oh, wrong way. Gone. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm putting that on, because I still need to check for the leaks. So I better take it off again, because I will be looking for leaks in a minute, just in case. More or less back altogether, but I need to still put a wheel arch in, under tray in, put the coolant in, put the oil in. Oh, and that's about it. Let's pop that back in. Alright, now I can pop some oil in. It's just below maximum, but it still needs an oil filter filling, so we'll put some more in. I think it does take whole 5 liters, to be honest, but I'll do for now. Well, the moment of truth. First, I need to turn ignition on, prime the fuel, because the fuel system was empty now. Oil light come off straight away. Surprise, surprise. Engine sounds good. Now I need to make sure it's not leaking. On these engines, when the injectors pull out without, the rail comes off without the injectors, there is a chance of injectors being damaged. I mean, not injector seals. So I've checked the injector rubbers. They seems okay, and I use lubricant to put it on. Otherwise, yeah, I have had them before they split, and when they split, obviously fuel leaks everywhere. So I need to make sure it's not leaking. It's not leaking. Let's turn it off then. Check the oil level. Obviously, we're gonna have a lot of smoke now because oil was spilled all over the exhaust. So unfortunately, it's one of them things you can't avoid. Right, let's check the oil level. A bit low. Well, that was expected anyway. Right, with these EcoBoost engines, it is quite important to change oil regularly. I would suggest about 10,000 miles, and use correct oil filter obviously, but then if you don't do it, that's what happens to the oil belt. Belts all gets perished, or use the wrong oil, or not changing oil in time, and this belt starts flaking off and blocks up the pickup, and you can potentially damage the engine completely. I mean, cam belt needs to be done anyway, but still, it's you touch and go with destroying the engine basically. So use the correct oil, and change the oil regularly in these cars. That's quite important, and that way the belt can last for a long time without actually flaking off. It's because I have seen it before. 100,000 miles on the car, and you take the sump off and it's clean. It's got no swarf in it. So it does show that if you maintain your car, the belt does last. But if you don't, it's definitely not going to last, or use the wrong oil. Yeah, that's good now. EcoBoom. All right, let's finish filling up this coolant. because this is the pipe. This thin pipe goes all the way to expansion tank. Is very common to snap, and when they snap, coolant comes out and the engine overheats, and that's it, and the engine is cooked. So yeah, make sure they're clipped in. Okay, let's start it up again. Engine running. I'm gonna leave it running until it warms up properly. Make sure the heater works, and that's it. We'll call it a day. And yeah, that's one for you. Well, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye for now. That's it.